Do you have to fix up a house before a probate sale? I answered that question for you, plus give you some tips on maximizing value when you do put that house on the market. Let's go. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Brendan Mohr, California realtor and certified probate and trust specialist. I've worked on several probate sales. And if you're not new to the channel, you've seen us before, you know Bill Heyman is on my team, and he is a legal document assistant in both California and Nevada, as well as a California real estate broker and Nevada realtor. He handles probate administration cases in both states. And when there's real estate involved, if you're just about to venture into this process, if there's real estate involved, look at our contact information below. Even if you're anywhere in California or Nevada, reach out to us because we can very possibly save you many thousands of dollars through the probate process from the very start to the finish. Okay, so let's get into this. Do you have to fix a house before you sell it through probate? And the answer is no, you don't. You don't have to do anything at all. And in fact, in most cases, you aren't even required to do many of the things that a regular sale requires. And that might be little things like smoke detectors, but the reality is most buyers are going to want you to have those anyways. So it's a really good idea to make sure that they have those, because in order for you to attract more buyers, you need to have the home in condition enough to where it can be financed on. There's all sorts of condition guidelines when it comes to financing. If it's a conventional loan buyer, which is very, very common, they have very loose regulations on property condition, but you want it in at least pretty good shape. But you got to have the water heater present. It has to be double strapped if it's a tanked water heater. You have to have a carbon monoxide detector and smoke detectors. Now, if it's FHA or VA, they have very, very strict guidelines, and it's a case-by-case basis on whether or not that's going to be able to be financed with those loan products. The reason why you want the house to be in condition for those loan products is it greatly opens up the buyer pool. If you're trying to maximize the amount of money that you're trying to get for the sale, it's great to have it in condition so you can attract several types of buyers. Every once in a while, somebody says to me, well, can't we just get a cash buyer? Sure, you can, but you got to price the home for the cash buyer. Most cash buyers are looking for fixers, or they're looking for a deal. Cash buyers love a deal. They think, and really they know, that they have a lot of power because there's no loan contingency, there's no appraisal contingency because they're not getting a loan, they're not getting an appraisal. And those are two of the things that really make a sale end up being canceled, because something happens that is problematic with the loan, something happens where it doesn't appraise, or the appraiser is the one who comes in and says, hey, these items need to be fixed or the loan won't close. Because a cash buyer doesn't need to do that, that's why they have the power. And almost always a cash buyer comes in, they want a lower price. So if you are in the position to fix up the home, if it does need that fixing before the sale, there are certain things that you can do. And it's a case-by-case basis. Now, this home that I'm in, I'm coming to you from one of our probate listings. And as you can see from behind me here, doesn't look too bad, right? Before the seller passed away, she had started to do a little bit of a remodel. Now, this seller didn't do a whole lot before they put it on the market. They could have put it on the market as it was. But what they ended up doing was they cleaned up some of the landscaping. A lot of probate properties have been sitting for a long time, and the landscaping maybe got out of control. They cleaned it up. That made it more presentable. They also, right above here where the can lighting is, that was a remodel. They took out the fluorescent lighting, or the owner of the home took out the fluorescent lighting and put in the can lighting. Well, before she passed away, she didn't have a chance to paint it. So you still saw the outlines of the fluorescent light boxes. The family that came in who's selling it came up there and they painted it, and they did a few other things around the house. Had the carpets cleaned, really cleaned it up. One thing to remember about buying a house and when you're listing a probate property is that people aren't necessarily looking for probate properties unless they're an investor and they think that maybe they can get a really good deal on something, which is a little bit of a misconception, really. Probate property usually sells for market value. But when people are out looking at homes, they're not looking for probate properties. They're just looking for a house to live in. So they're going to pay whatever they think that home is worth, if they even like the home at all. And buying a home is an emotional response. So if they come in, it presents itself really clean. Say it's not updated. Okay, so it's not updated. If it's clean, they're going to like it more. So clean up that yard, clean the carpets. That's a great thing to do. If you have the ability to do it, paint. Paint makes everything look clean. You really have all the money to do it. And my brokerage actually has a whole program where the repair costs, remodel costs can be fronted before the sale. It just takes quite a bit more time. There's 5 things you can really do to a home to improve the value. First thing, clean. I cannot stress that enough. A clean home looks great. Curb appeal. Curb appeal is one of the big factors. Flooring, kitchen, and paint. Those are the biggest things you could possibly do. Now, of course, if the roof is in really bad shape, I don't know if you're going to re-roof or not, but re-roofing, if the roof is in a very problematic state, is a really good idea because you might not even be able to get a loan on that. A buyer may not even be able to get a conventional loan on that. Now, I don't want to deter you from anything here. It's very possible that a home that is not updated, it's dirty, that looks like there's some shingles missing on the roof, it looks old, it's a 20-year comp roof that's maybe 30 years old. You know what? It's possible that a conventional lender will lend on that. And if you don't want to put any work in, if you're not able to, the whole process is tiring you out, you don't have to. There's nothing in the probate code that says you have to fix up this house in order to sell it. It's just looking at it just like any other real estate transaction, real estate sale. The better the home presents itself, the more likely you're going to get more offers and higher offers. Think of home flipping. People will buy a house for, say, it's $300,000. There could be multiple of that same model on the same street that you saw sold for $400,000, but this one was in worse shape, sold for, a flipper comes in, buys it for $300,000. They put $100,000 into work in it. It's suddenly the most beautiful house in the neighborhood. Sells for $500,000. Same house sold for $300,000, then for $500,000. And it's because it presented itself way better, gave an emotional response to a buyer. It looked like it was just move-in ready, and that is the best scenario for any home in real estate. Getting back to probate, you don't have to do that, but if you want to, there is that option, and it is great if you can do it. But if you don't, then you don't. I've sold tons of probate properties where it has to go cash only because it's in such bad shape. Only no lender will lend on it. And that is fine. And if that's the way you want to go, and that's the only way you can go, then that's the way you go. Thank you. Please remember to like our channel, subscribe. It'll keep this as a bookmark. We have so much information for you. Next, we have a video linked for you called the Probate Real Estate Timeline. Make sure to watch that. That has a ton of information for you. And what you also want to watch when you're done with that, linked below in this video, and you can just search our channel for it, is how much does probate cost in California? Watch that and you can save some money.